So now, Raymond, we'd be remiss to not start off with the biggest news that we've experienced in the past 21 years of our lives.
What?
Anthony's back.
Oh! I was so confused. I was like...
What? Anthony's back.
Dude, I'm worried.
Why?
So, I was brought this news not by the group chat, but by my sister, actually, of all people. And so... It was, I don't even know, I think it was like after lunch. She's like, She was watching a video while watching her ferrets, which is important for later.
That'll come back.
So she was watching this video, and she was like, Raymond, Smosh is getting back together. I'm like, what are you talking? And I was like, what? Yeah, and then she showed me she showed me a video of Ian and Anthony together, but like current versions. And I was like, what? And then she was like, yeah, they bought it out of Rhett and Link.
They bought it back.
And then it said, like, oh, new Smosh videos next week.
Uh-huh.
But are they going to go back to, like, because they said, like, old Smosh is back and, like, the mom was there.
It's really funny because they were like, classic Smosh is back. And I was like, hold on.
I'm worried. That's why I'm worried.
Here's the thing. I know they're bringing back sketches. That's for sure. They're bringing back skits. Which
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that, too. As long as they're
Courtney.
funny. That's another thing. They have a lot of new cast that haven't been in like sketches that I think are really funny. Like I love the whole cast, so I'm excited to see how they do in sketches and skits and stuff.
But is that all that's gonna be? Because I don't want that.
Well, because I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but Smosh Pit and Smosh Games have been uploading like normal. Just Anthony's in them now. Like this morning, they dropped a Truth or Dab with Anthony. I think yesterday or 2 days ago they did the Two Truths and a Lie with Ian and Anthony, which was a good video. And then they did a Try Not to Laugh with him, which I didn't watch because I don't like those. But, it's there.
My sister was watching it, and I was like, yeah, the joke wasn't funny.
I turned it on, and the first round Ian came out, and I was like, I'm good. I was like, I'm fine. I'll watch this in a best ofs clip later.
Yeah, that's literally, I was like, Natalia, the best ones to watch are the compilations, like SNL. But
just like SNL.
Exactly.
I will say, one thing for me that's very weird watching these videos is that, I mean, I didn't religiously watch Smosh in the past few years until, like, pretty recently when we started. But for the most part, I watched Smosh when I was younger, and then I came back later, and I watched it a bit, like, after. But basically, I kind of, like, saw Ian change a little bit. So now that Ian is this person now, it makes sense to me. But I haven't seen Anthony since he left. I've maybe watched like one of his like his own videos. So I've noticed that like something feels off. And I think it's because when he's come back, I'm like in my head Anthony is still the guy from like 7 years ago, when clearly he's changed a lot. So it's kind of weird because like it is Ian and Anthony, but they're a little different. But I mean overall, I can't wait to see what happens.
I'm just nervous.
It does suck that Let's Do This ended, though. I did like that show.
I wanted that show to continue.
They should just. I don't know why they had to stop it. It's a good show.
I wonder what Smosh, like the actual channel, is going to be besides sketches, though. If they drop just Let's Do This.
I would say I wonder if they dropped a lot of their shows because they also have like the Idiots Present, and
I'm fine. That's
the reunions. You don't like the Idiots Present ones?
I hate the reunions one too.
Oh. The reunions are fine.
Actually, I don't know what the Idiots one is. It just doesn't sound good.
It's the. I think we watched one. The one where.
Oh yeah, it's like complete.
They don't know the presentation that they're.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, I could do without.
The wrestler came out and tackled. What's his name? Peter. Anyways. Yeah. A lot of Smosh talk this week, but that's because not really. How long have we been recording? 4 minutes. We're fine. It's a big day for
back,
Smosh.
Baby.
Anthony's back, baby. The Ian's mom cameo went crazy.
And then he has all these line tattoos.
I know, I saw that. I was like, huh. My boy's tatted up.
They made fun of him to Try Not to Laugh.
Did they?
Somebody did like a joke thing, but he didn't laugh because he knew it was coming from that person. I don't remember who it was.
That's funny. But, R.I.P. R.I.P. Old Smosh.
Old...
The
modern
middle Smosh. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, because Old Smosh is back, but
Old Smosh
now
is
Old
back.
Smosh is the new Smosh. So R.I.P. Mid Smosh. Not that it was mid; it was just the middle point of time.
Yeah, I'll miss it.
It is what it is. Now I think I was talking to one of my friends, and they're like, now they just got to bring all the Smosh Games heads back, and I was like,
That's not gonna happen.
I don't think that's happening. They have their own.
They don't. They don't want to come back.
I don't think they want that. I mean, I know Mari came back for like a video or two, which is pretty cool. So at least they're not
opposed.
Yeah, they're not in bad terms. I will say it is kind of sad to see Red and Link no longer be involved because like they're pretty funny. I like them.
Yeah,
I like the crossovers. But good on them for being such good sports about it. Did you hear I think it was on Anthony's video. Like Anthony did I spent a day with Ian Hecox. It was like an hour or something long. And I think it was in that video where Ian was like, they talked about when they went to Red and Link and they were like, we want to buy Smosh. Or Ian went to Red and Link. And he was like, Anthony wants to come back, but only if we own Smosh. And then immediately Link was like, okay, we'll talk business in a bit, but can we just say how exciting this is that you guys are back? And I was like, that's pretty hype. That's awesome.
That is
you love
cool
to see it. I was gonna say, what is it? The ERB homies stay homies.
ERB what?
When they were all the artists on Artists vs. TMNT, the four of them.
Oh, that's right.
Bring them back to do that.
That'd be I'm not opposed.
I wouldn't be mad. But yeah, Smosh is back. We'll see where it goes from the future. Here's hoping for Food Battle to come back.
Yeah.
Food Battle 2023, baby.
I could do without. I think I don't know if you were there when I rewatched it, but
I don't know if I was there with you, but I rewatched it with Jacob, and it's a hard watch.
It's a hard watch, all of them.
You know what isn't a hard watch though?
What?
This podcast. Let's start the podcast.
So, a little backstory here. This is my third cup of coffee, but
of the day.
Yeah, I like coffee.
Love coffee.
Gets me dehydrated though, but
it does.
Or at least this version. No, it's true all around. Anyway,
it's that special dehydrating coffee.
Yeah, the best kind, where you need 3 cups in order to get your fill. But, my sister has a ferret. Ferret's name's Farrah.
Now this is a new ferret, I'm assuming.
What do you mean?
I don't recall too much talk about a ferret. I mean, I remember mentions, but how recent is this ferret we're talking?
I mean, when I was up there, so probably midway through the spring semester this past semester.
So a couple months. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember hearing very recently about this ferret.
Yeah. So I was in in the apartment. You were at work, and then my mom texted me. She's like, "Hey, not anything, not an emergency or anything, but like, call your sister when you have the chance." And immediately I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What's wrong?" And so I call her, and then she's like, "Oh, I got a ferret," and I was like, "What?" And so yeah, it's a girl ferret. Okay. And so when I went down there,
you said Farrah is the name, right? Farrah.
Yeah, but it's not anything to do with the ferret name.
Oh, the story?
Or like
Is it a reference to Overwatch?
I thought it was.
I think there's a character in Overwatch.
I think it's Apex. I think she said the game was Apex that she took it from. One of those games. I know she plays Apex. I don't know if she plays Overwatch. Anyway, so the ferret's cute, right? Very cute ferret. Very small. Very cute small ferret. And then she was like, "Oh, if they're alone, for a long time, as they grow up, they can die of depression." And I was like, "Oh,
damn."
And so she was telling me she wanted to get another ferret, and she didn't tell my parents this. And so one day my parents wake up, and she's like, "Hey, I got a new ferret."
Second ferret.
And so that ferret's my nickname for Farrah is Camel Hump, because when they like arch their backs, they look like a camel hump when they're walking around.
A little arch.
Yeah, and so when they sleep, they curl up in a ball. It's funny, but so the new one, they had it. They didn't know what to name it, and so I said little baby because it's funny because he's bigger than her, and yet he's 8 months old, and she's 2 years old, and so he's bigger. His claws are bigger, and so I was like, oh, little baby. And so my nickname's for him, little baby, but his name's Pippin, whatever. So
Pip?
Pippin, like
Pippin.
the Apex character.
There's another Apex. I was gonna say like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So that's the other ferret. So now they have two ferrets. She has two ferrets, and just recently, like before, they did not get along, but now that she like did the process to like bond them, now they sleep together. He plays with her, but he's a little too aggressive because he is still a baby.
Yeah.
So she will like hiss at him. Yeah, and so Nathaya has to like yell at him, slap him, whatever, and so but now like they're curled up next to each other. They lay in the hammocks in the cage together, one on top, one on the bottom. It's cute. Anyway, this week my animal's a ferret.
I was gonna say, I figured, I was like, halfway through, I was like, there's a lot of ferret talk. But also, it's very interesting how many animals there are that are like that, where it's like they show visible signs of depression if they're not with someone else.
Yeah, she was sad.
I know. Back when I had guinea pigs, there was the same thing. I had a guinea pig, and the person at Petco or PetSmart was like, "Hey, this thing's gonna get depressed. There's not another guinea pig." And I said, "Well, shit." So I had to get another guinea pig.
What if he lied and he just said that?
Just as to up his sales. Hey, dude, that guinea pig's gonna kill itself. You gotta get another guinea pig. I'm like, damn.
Oh man.
Oh fuck.
I gotta get another.
I gotta get another. Now, before we start any of the science talk, any of the smart talk, I need to know: do they smell as bad as people say they do?
Oh, so apparently there's a surgery.
100%.
100%. I will not lie.
I know there's a surgery to get rid of they have like a gland in their ass, like an anal gland.
Yeah, it's called, the surgery is like desentinization, something with descent, something like that. But that, and Lil Baby has it. He has that because they bought him at PetSmart, Petco, one of those.
He had the surgery, or he has.
He had the surgery.
Okay.
And so he doesn't smell as bad as Farrah does. But it's not like a smell where it's like terrible, like, oh my gosh, it's garbage. Yeah. It's just like, oh, it's a noticeable smell.
I would say, because I've been around a ferret, and they definitely have a smell. But it's like you said, it's not like oh my god, I can't breathe. It's like that smells like an animal.
Yeah.
Like there's an animal in my house, and it fucking smells like it. What did I expect?
Yeah. And so now my sister is in possession of one rabbit, two ferrets, and a turtle. And the turtle she takes care of the least.
I'm saying, I feel like they're pretty low maintenance, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just in the cage or in its little like tank thing, and does nothing. I never see it.
Nothing really.
I have to check on it every once in a while to make sure it's not dead, but because they don't move. Anyway, her room smells all the time. I don't know how she lives in that thing, but and even the bathroom, like when she puts them in there to play. Because to be in like a bigger space. Yeah. Even when like hours after, it still has a small scent of like, oh, there was ferrets in here.
Ferrets existed here for a second.
Yeah. And so apparently ferrets, they belong to the weasel family.
Weasels are cute too. I feel like movies depict them in a bad light, but this family.
Actually, I've never seen a weasel actually. Hold on. Outside of the characters from cartoons. Oh yeah, they are cute, dude. So. Ferrets. So the weasel family includes polecats, stoats, and ermines. Now I looked up like what these suckers look like. Polecats are the least cute ones. They're still cute, but not as cute as stoats and ermines. Those suckers. One of those, I forgot which one it was. They're like the definition of, oh my gosh, I want one.
Now this polecat looks almost exactly like a ferret to me.
Exactly, but the stoats and ermines look cuter.
Stoats are cute. I do know that. I remember I looked that up for a previous animal, and stoats are stoats are the cutest for sure. I just like their color schemes more. They usually like white or brown.
Yeah, my
look at these funky little guys. They're long.
What? They are long. Little baby's like a white. He has a white coat, so he kind of looks like a possum. And Farrah looks like a ferret. The bandit looking face and everything. Yeah.
Little mask and everything.
And so domesticated ferrets, which is what my sister has, they most likely descended from the European polecat. Yeah, so they were domesticated 2,500 years ago, which I don't know how that makes sense. No, that makes sense. I'm stupid. Historically,
2,500 years ago. Dang, that was 2,500 is pre-Jesus.
Pre-Smosh.
2,500 BS before Smosh.
BS. Pa, what's that? Before Smosh, son.
Before Smosh, son.
Now open your Bible. Oh, I forgot the Bible lesson. Hold on.
Oh, hold on. Everyone pause. Everybody pause.
This is from The Kane Mutiny Court Martial, a drama in 2 acts by Herman Wouk. As I recall, Lieutenant Mark had the con, and I now recall I had to caution him for opening the gap too wide between us and the boats. Amen. Amen. Yeah. I haven't read it. I probably read the first page and fell asleep, so that's why I need 3 cups of coffee. But historically, ferrets were used to hunt rabbits and rodents because they got lean bodies and a curious nature about them.
Do little baby and ferret have any? Is there any instinctual clashing with the rabbit?
Oh, with the rabbit? I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure Nathia said that Farah tried to attack the rabbit. But also, that's fine.
I might be stupid, but the ferrets are significantly smaller than the rabbit, is it not? Or are they like?
I'd say little babies a little could probably beat up the rabbit. Yeah, but ferret probably got a chance too. They're ferocious beasts. They may look
the two of them combined.
Tag team.
Bonnie and Clyde situation.
Exactly. Mr. Fantastic and Susan, or Invisible Woman. I was watching it. I forget it. There was an interview with Stanley. I'm like, oh, you're so brilliant. I
love you, Stan.
I know it's you ever watch those interviews where it's like they don't give you the full interview. They give it to you in like parts, and it's like in a playlist. And I'm just like, why can't you just give me the full? This is stupid.
Just give me a 2-hour-long video.
I saw that today, and so I was like, okay, I'll just put this playlist right here, and I'll have to watch them in succession. Anyway, so what else? Oh yeah, they get down in holes and chase the rodents and rabbits out of burrows, and this is the origin of the expression, which I've never heard, called ferret out. Oh, that makes sense.
Never heard that.
Yeah.
Ferret out?
Yeah. So you ferret out the rabbits out of the burrow.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Oh, me neither, but now I understand what it means. At first I was
now it makes sense.
Yeah, now it makes sense.
Had I heard it before, it would make sense.
Ferret out. I'm out of here.
Autobots?
Ferret out. Dude, speaking of Transformers.
Let's get into it.
So I remember you were saying like you hate how much. First of all, I watched your video. Very funny. When you asked me last time, I was ignoring it because I didn't watch it yet. And so
I figured. It's fine.
And so now I watched it. It was pretty funny, and I like it was funny. You're like, and just they give him glasses, and you're saying all this stuff about his face, and then I started thinking like, I remembered you said like before months ago how you hate that their faces are so like mechanical and like it's stupid.
Yeah.
And yesterday I was watching an interview with Eric Goldberg. He animated the genie in Aladdin.
Okay.
So pretty famous guy. At least in animator world. And he talked about the inspiration for how he wanted to animate the genie and his various forms that he turns into, like pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
And he looked to this guy named Art. I don't remember his last name, but he took inspiration from that guy, and then he said that something about like simple faces or like what animation is best for, or that animation's best with simple faces, so people can read the expression of the character.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is that another reason why the Transformers
also
suck?
Yeah, because like legitimately, like, and I've this was the case as an adult or as a kid, and it continues to be the case as an adult, where I rewatch those live action Transformers movies, and I'm like, there is not a face on that head. Like, I see the eyes, like they're glowing, but as far as the other expressions, I don't know what I'm looking at. Like, like especially Optimus Prime when he doesn't have his mask on, I'm like, that's nothing to me. Ironhide, I'm like, I can kind of see what they're trying to go for, like with a nose, but that's about it. Like it doesn't work, and it's so fucking funny because they do it in this movie, right, with like all those like plates and stuff, which to an extent makes sense because it's robotics and it has to be. You can't like squash and stretch metal; it'll look weird.
Yeah.
But there's just far too much. But it's really funny that, for example, Wheeljack has it. I showed it in the video, but RC doesn't. Like if you look at RC's model, it's probably because they're a woman. They're like, well, women have to be gorgeous, and they gave her like super smooth metal around her face. And it's like, give everybody that if you're gonna give it to her. What are you talking about? And I also talked about it when I reviewed her toy. I was like, they love over sexualizing this that they don't even make her look like a car anymore. It's fucking stupid. But she has a perfectly smooth porcelain-esque face.
Okay, you said they reached perfection.
They reached perfection. That too.
It.
Also, they didn't have to show his face. They just could have just given him a fucking mask like in the OG. Same with Optimus Prime. They never show his face. In the OG, he always has the mask on, but in these movies, he's taking it off every second.
Terrible.
Also,
I can understand why they take it off, but still,
they ruined Optimus Prime as a character, both in design and in character.
They got to get us over there. They're making terrible decisions.
They got to get us in the writers' room.
Oh, that'd be cool. An animated Transformers movie.
They're making one. It's coming out next year.
Really?
It's called Transformers 1, and it stars like famous people as the voice actors, which is kind of upsetting. But it's supposed to be like them younger and on Cybertron, I think like before the war or like when the war starts.
What does younger look like for a Transformer?
I don't know. I guess a younger voice because Chris Hemsworth is playing Optimus Prime, so nothing really matters. I think Scarlett Johansson is Alita 1 or she's RC.
This is stupid.
The only one that I don't mind is Brian Tyree Henry is Megatron. And he's got a good voice. He's also the voice of Miles' dad in the Spider-Verse.
Oh, that guy's cool. He's
cool. I like his voice. I just wish that they had like actual voice. Like Peter Cullen has been on Transformers since the fucking 80s. Keep him. He was there for a reason.
You reach perfection.
You reach perfection.
You found perfection.
Also, I'm really curious how they're gonna go with the animation because obviously they're not gonna do 2D. But I wonder how you can't. In this economy, you can't, and I just wonder how it's gonna look. Better be.
Speaking of,
I know I'm gonna be sad day one, but still.
Speaking of movies that I'll be there day one, but sad. I don't know if I sent it to. I don't think I sent it to the group chat, but I saw it that they're making the people who made Mario are making an animated Flintstones movie.
You did send it to us. You did send it to us. I saw that.
I'm hyped.
Wait, it was animated. I don't remember it being animated.
It's 3D like Mario, but Flintstones.
Okay.
I'll be there day one.
That's interesting.
Wait, I just need.
Is it
what?
Is it Flintstones Hanna-Barbera?
Yeah.
Weren't they gonna do a Hanna-Barbera extended universe with Scoob?
I think people realized that Scoob was trash, and so.
I think to be specific, I think the studios realized that everybody thought it was trash, and they're like, okay, well, fine. All right, you win.
You win.
All right, we'll make good movies again. And then they continued to not do that. Because who's that? Warner Brothers? I guess.
For Mario?
No, for Scoob.
Oh,
Mario is Illumination, which I think is part of Universal, which I don't. Is it Warner Brothers? Or is it like connected? Are they?
I have no idea.
I don't know. There's too many companies. Let's just make one movie company.
Call it the movie company.
Call it the film guys.
There was something I saw with, what was it, Spielberg? Like, they called an emergency meeting, like, with Spielberg, Scorsese, and Paul Thomas Anderson on the future of something. I don't know what that was about.
I saw it and I was like, that's pretty cool, and then I just kept scrolling. But what I saw was apparently Warner Brothers is doing something with on the executive level where they're letting go of a whole team or something like that, like a bunch of people. And then Scorsese and Spielberg and PTA were like, that sucks. So they were like a meeting of the minds, and they were gonna go talk to, I think, the Warner Brothers president or CEO or something.
That's really cool that they're like on a level of like emergency meeting. Let's call it the brain trust.
I wonder who like started it. Yeah, because I was like, I'd imagine it's like Scorsese, where he's like he's like scrolling through his. I'm assuming he has a phone. He has a phone and he's like scrolling.
He has Instagram.
And sees this news. Does he? That's cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he pulls, and then he aside from his cell phone, he grabs like an old rotary, and he's like, Steven,
Yes.
Steven,
So.
we got a situation.
And then Paul Thomas Anderson.
And PTA was already there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a PTA movie. Actually, that's not true. I did, and I fell asleep because it was 3 hours long. I'm sure. I'm sure it's a good movie.
Everyone talks like it's a good movie. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think I like you. I haven't seen a movie from him.
Yeah, but hey, everyone talks about he's a great director. I saw There Will Be Blood, and I can see the vision, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. But I was just, I might have been tired that day. Who knows?
I guess I'm tired most days when I watch recently. Dude, my package is out for delivery right now.
What's your package?
It's a collection of the OG Fantastic Four comics.
Whoa!
It's for study. It's not like because I just wanted it. It's for study. That's how
like an omnibus.
It says Mighty Marvel Masterworks.
It's one of the Masterworks. Okay, hype. It's like the fucking collections.
Yeah,
Sick.
It's just to study how the characters sound different because they do, even though
they do.
There's no voices.
Yeah,
it's a comic book.
It's the ever-loving blue-eyed the Thing.
Anyway, yeah, that's hype. Anyway, let's get back to ferrets.
Let's get back to ferrets. Let's talk about
Groundhog Day. Don't steal that animal. Actually, I'm gonna do that later. I forgot groundhogs existed. Anyway, you know what the name ferret translates to?
Long. Okay, actually, let me guess.
Oh.
Okay, no. Okay, what are you gonna say? What's the what is it? What are you gonna say?
Stinky little thief or weasel.
Thinky?
Stinky.
Like think?
Stink. Like stench. Stink.
Oh, stink. Damn.
Stinky little thief.
Discord was not liking that sound. Stinky little thief is awesome.
So it's either funny little thief, funny little thief, or more commonly
funny little thief.
Stinky thieving weasel.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Stinking thieving. That sounds aggressive.
And and they are obvious, and it fits them pretty well. They're stinky. They sneak around, and their faces look like raccoons and bandits.
Hold on. So I know, like, for us now, when you think of a bandit, you think of like the striped white and black, and like a little mask, right? But how long has that been the idea that back when we named ferrets, we had that in mind? Or since the dawn of man, we wore masks when we robbed people?
I don't know if it was that. I think that like stinky thieving weasel. Yeah, there's a thief weasel, and then now they're like, oh, they look like bandits.
Okay, sure. So do they have thieving tendencies in their actions?
I mean, from our ferrets. I mean, these are domesticated ferrets. You gotta understand. But...
You gotta understand.
I mean, I don't know. I don't look at them like 24/7. It's not my job.
Well, I'm saying, in your research, did you find anything like? Do they do stuff that thieves?
Maybe, I don't know. They chase rodents, dude. Part of my research, I found this chain. Like once I found like this thing, it led to like other stuff that like ferrets did that. I mean, I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, but
okay.
We'll get to their characteristics right now. So they got an uncanny stench about them. We already know that, and they're sleepy. This is something I've seen very, very much. So they're most active at dawn and dusk. So their natural sleeping schedule is adjusted, which is perfect for if you want to own a ferret. Perfect for someone who works like a full-time job.
Yeah.
Anyway, they sleep for nearly 16 hours a day.
Office to pet my ferret.
they
16 hours?
16 hours, and then they're very, very deep sleepers, and it's sometimes hard to wake up, so don't wake them up. But and the rest of the time they're active. I mean, I've seen it in real life.
Oh, that's fair. I saw one where like the ferret was asleep and they tried to pick it up, and they were like, I legitimately thought this thing was dead. That shit was like, it was like so incredibly limp, and they were like shaking it. They're like, not like shaking it, but they're like kind of poking it. They're like, are you okay? Like, are you alive? And the thing was just, and then like after like a minute, it just like perks up, like with no reaction. It's fucking crazy.
Did they not check the heartbeat?
Oh, I guess so. You just put little fingers on the chest.
Because I don't know if I wrote it down, but they do have like insane heartbeats, like you know, it's super fast, like a rabbit. But
Don't.
yesterday, Farrah was in the bathroom, because she was like being active, and so I put her in there. My sister was at work, and then I was gonna put her back in the cage before I went to bed, and I looked at her. She's still curled up in her ball, and she does this thing where like if she's tired, she'll like look to see who it is, and then she just goes back to sleep. Like she doesn't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
And so this was one of those times, and I was like, I'm going to bed. You're already in bed. I'm gonna put you in the cage. And so I'm like, hey, and like I'll like snap my fingers, whatever, and then she like gets up enough, and so I grab her, and then I feel the heartbeat, and then I put her back in the cage, and as soon as I put her in the cage, she just like goes limp again. she's out. Like she was not gonna make it to the hammock on like the third floor. It was like the second like level of the cage, and she just like laid there.
She just passed out.
I was like, man, that is funny.
That's the life.
But so apparently they have names for depending on different factors. So like a Jill is a female ferret that's not been fixed.
Oh.
Whereas a Sprite is a female ferret that has been fixed.
Huh.
And an unfixed male is referred to as Hobbs. like
the tiger.
Oh.
Or Dwayne the Rock Johnson and
that one, thank
Fast
you.
and Furious.
That's the one I was thinking of.
That's the first thing I thought of when you thought Hobbs, but knowing you, I thought you were gonna try to relate it to Calvin and Hobbs.
Oh yeah, I thought that first, and then I was like, no, that's not funny. What's the other one?
So we both flipped on each other.
And then a fixed male ferret is called a gib.
A gib? That's hype. Gib, yeah.
And then young ferrets are called kits, like Kits.
Oh, okay.
And then a group is called a business of ferrets.
Oh, I know. I'm aware of this.
That's a good one.
I remember I knew that, and one time when I was younger, actually not that younger, I was in high school. This wasn't like a thing that I ever wanted to be done, but I was like, just out of like my own curiosity and boredom, I was like, I'm gonna design like a story and world for like a little like a video game, like an RPG game.
Mm-hmm.
Think like Earthbound or Undertale. And then I was like, there's gonna be a world, and like in this world, there's one human left, and that's the human you play as, which is already a pretty basic cliche. But I was like, and then like they go to a city, like a bustling, like Big Apple metropolis, and it's all infested by animals because there's no more people. And I remember I learned that business of ferrets, so I designed like this crowd of ferrets that they all had like these suits and briefcases, and they were like looking at their watches, and they were like standing on their legs, so they were like really tall.
That's really funny. Yeah, when they pounce up on like their hind legs to like reach something, it's very funny. Also, this isn't a fact that I found, but just from observation, they hate water bottles. They will attack those suckers if you shake them.
From my own personal research.
Well, my sister does. I've never done it to them.
Like the crinkly, like the plastic ones.
The crinkled water bottles. They will like put that thing in their mouth and like walk away. Like nope.
Nope, we're not having this.
We're not having they also like shoes. They fit into. We got the biggest shoe. I found a shoe for mine that was like a big shoe, like the biggest one we had. Yeah. And then we put they almost fit in there, but they will like just close. Like look, that's a good shoe, and then they just
like,
go in there face first.
They just crawl in there.
They're like, yep, whatever happens, happens. They are freaking sly though, cause like Farrah was like jumping around, like looking, and then she goes to the end of the couch and then takes off, and my sister's like, no, and then she went behind the TV where she couldn't get.
That's funny.
She got her eventually, but I was like, she got you.
She got you.
Job, camel hump. But apparently they stink more if you bathe them.
I've heard that. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, there's science stuff about it. I don't want to get into that. It's boring.
No one cares about that.
That's the basic thing you need to know. But when they're not sleeping, they're continually active. So they sleep so much because of how much they play hard. They go hard, as Lil Baby would say. The actual Lil Baby, not the ferret. He has a song called "Go Hard." Yeah, the first Lil Baby, the OG Lil Baby.
Lil Baby.
Yeah, but they exert all their energy during the brief time that they're awake. That they sleep for 16 hours because of that. And they love to run around, chase things. They go through stuff. They jump. And it said that they should have a maximum hours of 4 hours per day of playtime when they're active.
5 hours.
And they can dance.
Wait, so they sleep? They can dance.
They sleep 16. They they're active for 4. That's 20 hours.
So,
What's the other
so
4?
they got 4 hours left of just straight vibing.
That's just the vibes. So apparently they can dance. So they're known for running and everything, but they can also dance. So the term is called the Weasel War Dance, which is I think
dance.
hilarious. Yeah, and
That's
it's often
awesome.
displayed when they're excited or when they sense a threat is near. So it is said that weasels in the wild display this movement. They do it to confuse or disorient their prey, which
Classic.
is cool. But so they both do this, domesticated and wild ferrets. So they arch their back and they frizz their tails, and then they hop sideways, often in a sporadic pace. I've seen this live action. It is hilarious.
I've seen this live.
And so it's like when they're excited, mainly. So she's dancing around, like doing that stuff. But she was doing it on the top of the couch, and so she was jumping around, and she fell off the couch. And then she tried to run away, to hide somewhere, and then you grab her. My sister said apparently if you laugh at her when she falls or something, she gets self-conscious about it, which I haven't seen, but that's funny.
She gets bashful.
She's like, oh, stop laughing at me.
I guess little rodents love hopping because when I had guinea pigs, they did a thing that's known as popcorning. And they would just and they would make these little noises like pop, and they're like pop in place, and they're just like hopping. And like I've seen videos of like a room of them just like.
That's awesome.
And they make like little squeaks, and they like hop in place. Just jumpy little guys.
Jumpy little fellows. Apparently, my sister says the term is duking when they're like really excited and want to play, and they make like little sounds. I don't think they say duking, but they make little sounds that when they're excited. And I've seen it once, but it is funny. And apparently there's a sport called ferret racing. Now this sport originated in the U.S. when ferrets were used to haul lines through long gas pipes that were being laid through the desert.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this is the thing I discovered, and then it was like a little trail that kept going. So now it developed later into a sport.
That's crazy.
Where they race through different pipes and tunnels and whatnot. And it's a popular countryside sport now. And they host it at state fairs too. But yeah, so I found this giant thing, a whole article about what ferrets used to do. They were the cable runners is what it was called. So they used to run cables. So here's a couple examples. So they ran cables at the Buckingham Palace for the wedding of Princess Diana and Prince Charles in 1981.
Whoa.
And a team of ferrets named Beckham, Posh, and Baby laid the TV, lighting, and sound cables underneath the stage for some big concert. Or a symphony, yeah. It was a symphony. Let's see.
These are handy little guys.
Yeah, so let's talk about the nuclear ferrets.
I'm sorry.
That's what the thing is called.
Let's talk about these radiated ass ferrets.
So, all right. So, this is a lengthy thing. In September 1971, scientists at the United States National Accelerator Laboratory, NAL, operated by Stanford University in California, needed to clean microscopic steel particles known as mesons from long tubes in a particle accelerator, like the Flash. They used it for experiments in electron acceleration. Now, at this time, it was the largest machine in the world, with a 6.5 kilometer. What are you doing? My mom just opened the door.
Get her on the cast.
Oh, we have ferrets. These are the ferrets.
Oh, live in the studio. I'm assuming
This
your
is
right hand is
Little Baby's this one.
Yeah.
All right,
so
pal.
long.
Jeez, he's gnawing at me. There you go. Thank you.
The tails are longer than I remember. That's awesome.
Hi, everybody on there.
10 people watch this. Anyway. So those are the ferrets, live action. They're squirmy too. Those suckers do not want to be held sometimes.
And they as is their right, because also it's hard to stop them from squirming because they're bigger than your hand typically.
Yeah, and it's funny. You can when they're in the cage, you can open the cage and put your arm out, and then they'll crawl on it. Okay, I'm out. Anyway, so this accelerator, big deal, pretty dangerous, and they couldn't get into these tubes essentially. And then they're like, hey, let's get these ferrets. So they ran the cables through the tubes because only ferrets could fit in there. And
And that's that. Are ferrets smart?
I have no idea. Oh yeah, so I remember. I don't know which job this was. I don't know which version of the ferrets this was. Like what job it was, if it was like for a symphony or whatever. But their reward was like Pop-Tarts. They would give Pop-Tarts to the ferrets. And
if I was a ferret and I did a good job and I got a brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart, I'd be elated.
I can't think. But I remember there was part of the article was like the ferrets didn't get this one particular job done because they fell asleep in the tubes or whatever, and
That's
so
funny.
they didn't do it. But they were electricians. There was one ferret called Freddy.
Freddy the ferret.
And he laid cables through a bunch of pipes. I'm trying to see the royal ferrets. This is my favorite one. So the BBC employed a team of ferrets to help thread TV cables under the floors of St. Paul's Cathedral in London, England, for coverage of the wedding for Diane and Charles. And so the cables had to be fed through very long, narrow underground ducts under the cathedral, and along conventional methods. And conventional methods were tried, but they failed. So they got ferrets and were successful, and they were able to attach the TV cables to line the threads and pull the cables through the ducting. Then there's transcontinental ferrets, military ferrets,
The whole
Cold War ferrets.
Cold War ferrets.
Yeah, so this is the Pop-Tart one. They gave Pop-Tarts to the ferrets. And it's like I said, it's just threading cables and whatnot where people can't do them.
That's so interesting. Well, I guess it makes a lot of sense though, because who else is gonna do it? Yeah, who else but the ferrets?
Oh, this is a good one. So there was a concert featuring Simply Red, the Arithmetics, Brian Ferry, and the London Symphony Orchestra. Although most didn't go ahead due to difficulties in threading broadcast and electrical cables, fearing a huge bill and poor quality TV coverage for the event, the organizers called in Beckham, Posh, and Baby, those three ferrets I talked about. And they were named after the Spice Girls. So once the ferrets had completed their work, the concert went ahead and was viewed by millions around the globe. And they had no idea that ferrets were the reason they were watching this thing.
That's fucking amazing.
The underappreciated ferret.
Also, it's really funny because I don't normally consider ferret a very like common animal. So
Me
the
neither.
fact that they're just like, get the ferrets. I just imagine
Call them in.
Get me the ferrets. That's like, it's kind of like G-Force, because I just watched G-Force the other day. It's kind of like that, but better.
Kind of like
'cause it's
G-Force.
real. Kind of like G-Force, but better because it's real. And there's less Will Arnett.
Yeah, someone should make a show like this. I'm not.
Someone else.
No.
Not me. Oh, hear me out though. An episode of Poppy P.I. and I, they have to help with some ferrets. That's all. That's the whole idea.
That'd be good. That's the whole idea.
idea.
Well, I finished that episode.
We'll do it. I saw you send me the script. I haven't read it yet, but I will give it a look.
Yeah, please don't. But I just sent it.
Word. I'll throw it on Patreon. But we'll have the three ferrets, and then they'll be voiced by you, me, and Jacob.
That'd be good. Wait, who voices Poppy, P.I., and Kimberly?
I mean, it could be us too, but like we'd be doing a voice, and then but for those ferrets, it's just us.
I imagine the P.I. would be your voice, your gruff like voice.
Hey. Like the Thing voice that I did earlier.
Probably, yeah.
It's the ever
very much like the Thing.
What is it? It's the ever loving blue-eyed the Thing.
Actually, I thought of him. Never mind. I take it back. I remembered. When I thought of the character, I thought of Lucius from Planet of the Apes. He was like a young ape. It was the OG one. You wouldn't know. Just. Well, I don't think anybody. I mean, that movie. Anyway. I think I'm not old enough to understand how great it is. I think that's what it is. Because there were times where I was like, "This is boring," but I like that character. He like hated the adults. But anyway, that's all I got on ferrets right now.
It's a
They're
good fact.
interesting
It's a good
animals.
animal.
It's a good animal.
It's
I
one
just
of the
wish I had more.
I feel like it's on the line of like this animal could feasibly exist. You know what I mean? Like
What?
sometimes I see an animal and I'm like, that's crazy that is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I like let's just say we lived in let's say we lived in biblical times, and someone showed up with a parchment, and they said, "Look at this thing that I saw," and it was a drawing, and it just looked like a long hamster. I'd be like, "You're stupid. That doesn't exist. That's not true. That's a snake with legs. You just drew a snake with legs."
That's what they are. They squirm around.
You just
like
drew
that.
a furry snake with legs. That's bullshit. But
You're
like
lying.
now I know there's so much things that are crazy. So a long hamster is not out of the question, but the fact that it's that long is still like, wow, that's
crazy. I never thought like hamsters and guinea pigs were they like wild animals before we domesticated them? I can't imagine.
I know guinea pigs. I remember I had that too. Exactly. I remember I had that thought too when I got a guinea pig. I was holding it and I was like, "There's no way you're real." I was like, "Where would you exist aside from my bedroom?" And and I looked it up, and I think it's like maybe like Peru, like South America. They just like live in the plains.
That
Like
makes
you
sense.
just find like herds of them.
What's your animal?
I've had a lot. I've had many.
You're like your favorite.
Capybara.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. They're just really tiny capybaras.
I saw a video.
Capybaras are giant guinea pigs.
Yeah, I don't know if you sent it or if I saw it somewhere, but some guy was like hating on capybaras. No, it was a video. No, my dad was watching some like Food Network thing, and they like toured this place where capybaras were. He's like, oh, disgusting rodents.
I was like, they are rodents, but they look funny to me.
In the term sense.
Yeah, only in a scientific sense.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, because guinea pigs are like, I think like a delicacy in South America too, for like food, for like comida.
That like of importance and like, you should like not kill
royalty.
them.
Yeah, they're royalty.
We eat those suckers.
There was something else I was gonna say. I think it was about a capybara. No, doesn't matter. I watched you know that show My Strange Obsession, or My Strange Addiction. Sorry.
Yeah.
There was an episode where this woman was addicted to her pet capybara, and she was just talking about how much she loved this animal, and the animal was just like apple, like you know, like that, you know, the face it was like they were just kind of like their eyes are half open. Like the animal could not give less of a shit about this woman.
That's funny. I saw a video. I'll do this animal eventually. I just wanted to do the ferret because my sister just got a new one, and I was like, perfect time. But I saw this. I don't know what type of octopus it is, but this octopus, like, it's so smart that it pretends to be another animal so that you won't attack it as an octopus. Like, the video started with like the octopus like turning into like looking like the sand, but it also morphed its like tentacles and everything to look like a manta ray.
Oh, whoa, that's sick.
And then it like, you know, did other stuff. I don't remember, but
it did some other stuff.
it said,
was that like a specific type of octopus that does that, or
it was a specific type.
Damn.
And they said like the narrator like talking through it while you see videos of the thing.
Yeah.
It said it also like pretends to be like this animal. I forgot what the sea creature was, but they didn't show the video, and I'm like, man, I want to see a video of what that looks like on this.
That's really cool.
That's an exciting one. I want to do that. I haven't had a critter that I wanted to like really do since zebras.
That was in the studio.
Yeah.
I said the hardest. I was like, gotta talk about an animal. Was the black bear after Arizona. When I saw them, and I was like, holy shit.
I gotta do a black bear.
I gotta do a black bear episode. Speaking of Arizona, though, I don't think I mentioned this, but they had an exhibit with a beaver. And we were like looking, because, you know, it's like a little, but you've been to a zoo. There's like a little area.
Yeah.
And there's like a sign that's like a plaque. And then me and our friends were like, where's the beaver? And there was a sign, and I was like, oh, look. And it says, if you can't find me, come check in my cave. And there's like this little, like, it's obviously like a fake rock, but it's like this like old rock over here with a window in it. And I noticed a sign, and I guess they didn't. And I walked over, and I peered through the window. You have to like really press your fucking face because it's like a tinted window. But I looked in there, and that beaver was sleeping, and he was sleeping right on his back. So I just saw his fucking belly, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was like I don't know how to explain. Like legitimately, like you can't really see my desk, but I'll try my best to show it in camera. Like if the window was like here on a slant, the beaver was like literally like right here. And it was just like laying over.
Oh.
His belly was right there. And I was like,
oh!
wait. Yeah, I was like, there's no way. And then I looked really close. There he is.
Stupid
That's
beavers. I'm just
fucking
kidding.
beavers. There's also a frog exhibit.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't see any frogs though, because I was like, they're really tiny. But also, like, the walls, not especially high. I was like, how do you keep a frog in an exhibit? Do they not just hop away?
They're too small to hop away.
They're the tiniest frogs.
Oh, dude. Speaking
The
of
animal
frogs,
kingdom is beautiful. Oh, I'd love to
It
hear
is.
about a frog.
I guess this is related about frogs, but when I like, when I'm like studying or whatever, I
Yeah.
put like ambience on.
Sure.
So after Spider-Man came out, I was listening to like, Miles Morales ambience, and it was
Mhm.
just like nice, like calming music, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And I got up back on just ambience, like ambience in a coffee shop or ambience like in the forest, like rain. Those are my favorites.
Yeah.
But I hate the coffee shop ones because they always play jazz, and I'm just like, I don't want to listen to music. Dang it.
I get what
And
you
so, so I started listening to like the outside ones, and then there was cool ones. I was like, oh shoot, it's like swamp, and I'm like, oh, yes, and
mean.
because there's like a cool image of like like swamp and like rain's coming down like in the video, and it's like cool.
For
And then,
sure.
but in that swamp one there was frogs. You could hear frogs. And I'm like, this is nice. But then like some other noise came in. I'm like, no, I'm clicking another one. This is stupid.
This is dumb.
I was like, what the hell is that?
At the exhibit, you couldn't see any frogs, but you could definitely hear them like croaking. One time I went to
That's
the lake.
cool.
I know I told you this. I don't know if I said this on the podcast though. I
Oh,
went to a
yeah.
lake with a friend, and I was like, "What's that sound?" And you hear like like in the distance, just like well, I can't do it very loud, but like like croaking. And then she was like, "Oh, those are frogs." And I said, "I'm sorry." I'm like, "They're right there. Let's go find a frog." And we couldn't find any frog. But there was a point where I was standing probably right on top of a frog because the croak was like at my feet. And I froze, and I was like doing my best to like scan and see if I could find the frog because I could hear it like right below me, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And I didn't find it. And I was so mad. But every day is a new day. There's always a chance to find a frog.
Always another day, another
And another day, another chance to find a frog.
Dude, that's actually the first line of my rap. That's actually funny.
I
starts
forgot
with-
about your raps.
It starts with another day. Yeah, this is not. I will say this right now.
Uh-huh.
Critics are saying this is not the best.
Critics saying is not.
I'm gonna say that right now. Yeah, it's not.
I'd love to hear it though. Is Raymond the next one?
I
out of
bet you
Phoenix?
would.
I bet you.
What does that mean?
Is Raymond the hottest rapper out of Phoenix?
Probably. I can't think of another rapper in here. Yeah. I guess I have to do this rap.
I mean, you don't. Hey, man, you don't have to.
I know, but like, I wrote it.
I wrote it.
That took
the
time
critic
out of
heads
my
are
life.
The heads are expecting it.
All right. Yeah. Hey, that's an part. This is like me ad-libbing before. Like all the great rappers do this.
Hyping yourself up.
Yeah, all the greats do it.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need a good yeah too. I realized that.
Yeah.
I've heard someone like say yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's not as good as like
Oh,
Drake
don't
or
say that ever
somebody.
again.
What?
You know, like they say yeah. And
Oh.
like, oh, don't. That's enough.
Yeah, those yos are important, man. You're like, oh, this sounds good. Oh, this will be a good song, and it usually is.
It always fucks.
Anyway, all right. I didn't even. This is probably the least amount of one I practiced too. So I don't know breathing control if it'll be there. I may have to like stop. All right.
Catch your
Yeah.
breath.
Yeah. Hey, turn my voice up a little bit. Yeah. Hey. Okay. Another day, another dollar. Ferret in, ferret out. Well, you don't know what I'm saying? Here, let me tell what it's all about. We're the cable rollers, man. Got our hard hats on. I tell it backwards here. A time once upon. That's when I crossed the finish line and stopped my sporadic pace. Now the fam's on the countryside, chilling, slow and steady wins the race. Wait. Hold on. That don't make sense either. Allow me to go back when I was just a dreamer. Not a nickel, not a dime. A Pop-Tart was my reward for a hard day's work, sweating and serving the Lord. You know, Princess Diana and the man Prince Charles dreaming 16 straight, dreading until it's tomorrow. The fam's domesticated, a camel hum back is cement, while the polecats get to chase rats and rodents. Been going on 2,500 years. Thinking my kids will see the same phrase brings me to tears. Dang. So I got busy living, saving up for the States. Saw a postcard, gets it's called a fair race. On the boat ride over, we were called many things. Stinky thieving wheels, all the things you wouldn't believe. Touchdown, we made it. So proud I could dance. My tail started frizzing up, and I started arching my back. Hippity hopping sideways, just sorting my prey like I was a weasel in a wall, praying for better days. We passed through tunnels, passing gingerbread rows. It was a tight fit, you see, from tail to nose, 15 inches, and we still have a certain musk. We were steady, active, jumping from dawn to dusk. Then we woke up. The central still around. Fair racing Grand Prix, I heard the sights and sounds. Then I saw the entrance fee, man, it was 15 cents. That was a life savings. Gee, do I pay the expense? I mean, we come so far. Then I saw the reward, way better than a Pop-Tart Klondike bar. Now we're on the track, seeing who I'm competing against. Couple stoats, mines, and a few polecats started getting in my head. I was feeling the dread. Then I remembered, wait a sec, on my experience. I was in the Cold War, military, a royal pest. Man, I made the symphony go. I could pass this test. Ready, set, go. We were off on the show, racing high, low, below. I was feeling the flow, and then a stoat cut me off. He was getting in the waves. It was a third lap, too. Seized me like prey. Then I remembered, hey, it's a ferret in, ferret out. I was a cable runner, man. That's what it was. That's what it all was about. I slowed down, took it like one cable at a time, and wouldn't you know it, I saw in red a sign, shortcut on a pine. I started to climb. It was nothing to me. I did this all the time. I plopped down, dang, landed on my face. I turned around and saw that stoat coming on the chase. That's when I crossed the finish line and stopped my sporadic pace. Now the fam's on the countryside chilling, slow and steady wins the race.
Damn.
I went fast because I did not prepare. Oh
But
shoot! I should pull up.
I liked it. I didn't notice a chorus.
Yeah, there was not.
Okay. I was gonna say because I like raps, and I guess any song too, that just sort of feels like a story, and there's not really like I can't name any top of the head, but yeah, you've heard like songs where it's just like it's just beginning to end and nothing ever like repeats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except for a couple lines.
There's a J. Cole song called "Close" on the Off-Season album, so his most recent one.
Mm-hmm.
And every word in that song rhymes with "close," like every ending of the bar.
Yeah.
And he says "close" in there again, but like it's every like 4 bars he says "close."
Mm-hmm.
And he tells like a story. There's no chorus or anything.
Yeah.
The only chorus, quote unquote, is him saying "close."
Yeah, sure.
But everything rhymes with it, and it's not like rhymes were like "close." What rhymes with "close"?
Bros.
Yeah, he just like it's really the O that like makes it rhyme.
Yeah,
like
for
close. Sure. I stare at my dreams as they approach, like
that.
So let me break down this rap because you probably didn't hear everything. And it's not even that much factual. Anyway,
it's not even that.
I guess I'll just say it's slow. So another day, another dollar. Ferret in, ferret out. Wait, you don't know what I'm saying? Here, let me tell you what it's all about. We're the cable runners, man. Got our hard hats on. I'll tell it backwards here. A time once upon. That's when I crossed the finish line and stopped my sporadic pace. Now the fam's on the countryside chilling, slow and steady wins the race. Then, wait, hold on. That don't make sense either. Allow me to go back when I was just a dreamer. Not a nickel, not a dime. A Pop-Tart was my reward for a hard day's work, sweating and serving the lords, you know. Princess Diana and the man Prince Charles, dreaming 16 straight, dreading until it's tomorrow. So, you know. Yeah. Sleeping 16 and dreading to go to work, whatever. Cable runners, hard hats, you know, whatever. The fam's domesticated, camel humpback is spent, while the polecats get to chase rats and rodents. Been going on 2,500 years, so they've been domesticated for 2,500 years from the polecats. And then thinking my kits will see the same fate brings me to tears. So I got busy living, saving up for the States. Saw a postcard, guess it's called a ferret race. On the boat ride over, we were called many things. Stinky thieving weasel, other things you wouldn't believe. Touchdown, we made it, so proud I could dance. My tail started frizzing, and I started arching my back. Hibbity hopping sideways, just sorting my prey like I was a weasel in a war, praying for better days. So all those things are, you know, the dance, essentially, is what that thing is about. We passed through tunnels, passing gingerbread rows. It was a tight fit, you see, from tail to nose. 15 inches, and we still have a certain musk. So they're 15 inches long. I never said that before. I forgot about that. But, yeah. And we were steady, active, jumping from dawn to dusk. So, you know, they're active from dawn to dusk. And then we woke up. The stench was still around. Ferret Racing Grand Prix, I heard the sights and sounds. Then I saw the entrance fee. Man, it was 15 cents. That was a life savings. Gee, do I pay the expense? I mean, we come so far. Then I saw the reward, way better than a Pop-Tart Klondike bar. So, you know, the reward for, you know, what I said before. Now we're on the track, see who I'm competing against. Couple stoats, mines, and a few polecats. Started getting in my head. I started feeling the dread. Then I remember, wait a sec, on my experience. And then, you know, there's Ferrets in the Cold War, military royal pest.
Mhm.
Man, I made the symphony go. I could pass this test. Ready, set, go. We were off on the show, racing high, low, below, and I was feeling the flow. Then a stoke cut me off. He was gaining a ways. It was a third lap too. Seized me like prey. Then I remembered, hey, it's ferret in, ferret out. I was a cable runner, man. That's what it all was about. I slowed down, took it like one cable at a time, and wouldn't you know it, I saw in red a sign, shortcut on a pine. I started to climb. It was nothing to me. I did this all the time. I plopped down, dang, landed all in my face. Turned around and saw that stoke coming on the chase. That's when, and then I crossed the finish line and stopped my sporadic pace. Someone said, all that crap.
Yeah.
Anyway, not my best work. I will say that right now.
I will say it's something that it took me this long to realize. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but you gotta admire that all your raps are like stories, because I feel like, for example, the idea of a quote unquote educational song about, well, anything educational, but about an animal would just be like a list of facts set to a beat. But you tell pretty cool stories with it, and I admire that.
Nothing will top the what was the one I did before this?
Donkey?
Oh, it was Anteater. Nope, it was not Anteater.
It's donkey. Wasn't it a donkey?
Oh, it was Donkey. Sorry, I just forgot. I remember Wild African.
The only reason I can remember the order is because I make the thumbnails, and I'm like, what was it?
Anyway, yeah, I'll be better for the next animal I do.
Yeah, you gotta fall off to fall back on.
Exactly. I mean, I reached such a peak, and then it was the only logical place.
She's like, I don't know about to fall off.
I just meant like this one I fell. Anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of fall offs, J. Cole's album's coming soon, hopefully.
And it's called The Fall Off, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I was like, are you saying he fell off?
Oh,
hell
no.
I remember you told me that it was called The Fall Off.
Speaking of rap, since we're on the subject,
Yeah,
just kidding.
Might as well since we're here.
Doja released her single.
Did she?
It's called Attention, and there is still a little like pop in there, like at the beginning, like it's the chord. It's not like pop, like didn't even know, so, but
Sure.
it's like she's singing, harmonizing, and then she gets into the rap, and then it comes back at the end. But not a bad song. Doja's back,
Not a bad. So Doja's back. A lot of critics are saying Doja's back.
and apparently your old fans hate it, because they like her when she was not just a rapper. But screw you. She could rap really good.
Yeah, she said that she is done with pop, right?
That's what I heard from you.
Or was that someone
and
else?
then,
I saw it on a post.
oh, I heard it from you, and then people who I watched like reaction videos, they also said it, and I was like, I guess it's true.
It must be true.
I got 3 different sources. I'll confirm. That's a confirmation enough for me.
We triangulated the claim.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Holy Trinity. Yeah. I can't think of another rap. Lil TJ released a song.
How's that?
Not his best work. At least for me. I mean, I guess I don't know. There's specific TJ songs I like, but can't think.
I know that one like R&B hip hop rap artist that I told you about. He dropped something last midnight, but I haven't listened to it yet because I woke up about an hour before we started filming the podcast. So I'm gonna check that out when we're done here. You got anywhere to be today, Raymond?
Yeah, I gotta make this movie.
Nice.
I told my parents this. At the rate I'm going right now, it's probably gonna take me at least 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks, to film it. So that sucks.
It's a lot of work.
It took me 3 days to make the other one, so that sucks. Or is that just a comparison?
Yeah.
But, speaking of that, actually not of that, but speaking of, so after I wrote the Poppy PI thing, I was like, all right, what the hell am I gonna do now? Because that was like my writing practice for like each day, essentially.
Yeah, I feel.
And I was like, well, great. And so, I started picking up on little things that my parents started saying and like people around me, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write that down. Like my parents say good night differently, and that tells you something about them.
Yeah.
Like my mom says, "All right, good night, mijo," but my dad just says, "All right, good night."
Yeah.
Like he would never say mijo or bubba or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's interesting. I'm writing it down, whatever. And then I was like, okay, well, let me just like write a scene where it's like my mom, my sister, my mom, my dad, and I wrote them down, whatever. The first one was good, my mom, my dad, and my sister, but the mom and my sister and my mom's one was not good, or it was, I knew I could have did better, and I was like, dang, what the hell do I do now? Because those are over. So I was like, wait a second. And the reason I got the Fantastic Four books also is because I was like, I'll just write a TV episode with the Fantastic Four because those characters are already made.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do that work. And it's great practice on writing characters that sound different and also structuring something and writing a story about something. So anyway, I thought that last night because hours before I came to that decision, I was panicking like, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow for writing.
Yeah.
So I got there, and then, so that'll be my practice today, but it'll be an episode, which is cool. But
very cool.
That just makes me wish there was like we said when we watched the Fantastic Four movie, like
just
there should be something like that.
Content. I want to revisit this thing that when I was like, I'm gonna make a good Fantastic Four movie, and I wrote a bunch of shit. I would like to revisit it, but I know I didn't get very far. There's not much to revisit. I just know the general plot, and I know what I wanted to happen for the characters for their arcs. Yeah, there's really nothing else there. Unlike my Howard the Duck show, where I spent quite a bit of time.
That's funny. Yeah, I can't deal with that, like arcs and all that crap. I'm just like, okay, I just want practice, and at the same time, I think it'd just be cool to make a sitcom, but of Fantastic Four.
Yeah. And
I didn't want to even do like superpower crap, so it's mainly like the family.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
This is where Reed learns this, essentially. But yeah, but the more I looked at it, like the Baxter Building, I'm like, man, I wish there was because each photo I found of the Baxter Building, it's the same photo, but a 60s version of the comic book, like a modern day one, and it's the same ones. Like, oh, this is Reed's bedroom, this is where Ben lives. I'm just just give me an inside tour. I want to. This looks like a cool place to live.
Give me an MTV Cribs.
Honestly, but yeah, those are my.
I wish, man. I wish we could do a Cinema's Corner right now with Jacob, because I would like to tell you what we worked on with the burger movie. We should schedule something with him for next week.
Why can't we just do the Cinema's Corner with Jacob?
You want me to see if he's available?
No, I meant for next week.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. We gotta schedule.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he's not doing shit right now, but yeah. I mean, we can do a Careers Corner too, and then do a Cinema's Corner. But we'll see. But yeah, because I think it'd be cool if we did it. We split it into make it a trilogy, right? We do me and Jacob's not pre-production, but outlining the story, and then once we finish with the script, we give it to you whenever you've read it and give notes. We'll meet back up then, and I guess you can give us the notes then. And then after it's done, we do it all. We do a post-mortem.
Commentary.
A commentary track. There you go. That's the move. Ow. But yeah.
I was gonna say something, I forgot. Oh yeah. All right. Let me say this. Yeah. So I'm in UTV. Yes. I got a director spot.
Yes.
And so I'm directing one called Kleptomaniac. I know but context.
Yeah. For sure.
And so, as long as I'm director, we're not making a bad movie under my watch. So
that's all I'm saying.
That script was not there. And so, and I knew that too. Because and that was probably the one I wanted to work on. No, I wouldn't say least. Least was the It's Alright one, because they didn't get me started. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, all right, well, our movie's gonna be better than that, just because
plain and simple.
I will not allow it. Yeah. And so we met with the writer, and he gave us, and this was like in May, like last week of school. We met with the writer, and we went over notes. We basically changed. We kept the premise of like the detective and the main character in the diner, but we made it a story. And so he was like, our producer asked, how long do you think you'll need to write it? And he was like, okay, I'll probably early July is probably when I'll have it finished, or like close to finished, and we can talk then. And I was like, okay. And the producer was like, okay. But in our heads, we were worried. And so later, when me and the producer talked, when the writer was not there, we're like, oh yeah, we're a little stressed about, him taking, that long. We're like, oh. But then I thought about it like yesterday. I'm like, wait a second. I've written a TV pilot. I've written a script from the movie I'm filming right now. I'm writing I'm like, wait, I could have had this done in like a day. I was like, dang it. Damn. I should have. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'd get in trouble if I wrote the script.
Just
I
like
was
completely start over.
Yeah, I was tempted to like, what if I like wrote my version of this? But I knew I'd want to go with it.
Yeah, you probably would get a little too attached. Do you know any update how he's going on it?
Oh, I texted him, because I wanted I haven't touched the movie at all, since that meeting essentially. I touched it one day because I was like, all right, I should probably work on this. And I just texted him, but I didn't remember a specific thing about the character. And I was like, hey, Andy, just seeing how you're doing. And I had a question about blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, oh, having a good summer. Thanks. And then he gave me the answer I was, I wanted. Or not I wanted, but, he gave me the answer because I asked him a question. And so he's having a good summer, so that's all I know.
He's having a good summer, so hopefully he likes writing.
And my friend, who's the editor for the film, he's like, hey Raymond, is there a update on the script? Like, is it in the drive, or do you have an updated script? I'm like, hey, no, it's not in the drive. I don't have an update for it.
I don't have an update. Script's MIA as of now.
Script's MIA, and I know because he's right. His script was chosen for one of the other UTV films. Not, it's all right. It's another one. And so he's kind of like double dipping. Like, he's the editor for ours, but he's the writer for theirs. And so I already know there's 3 revisions on his script because it's in the drive. And under ours, it's literally the script, and then the story changes that we made, and I like wrote those notes, and then it's an Aesop fable. There's no script revision. It's all right though.
It's all right. It's all right though. We live. I mean, I don't know how scripts are gonna turn out. I don't know this guy, but I can say that with you behind the director's wheel, it'll be a banger movie.
I hope so. And I'm really, I don't want to like I don't want it to I don't want to be controlling like I was on Crunch Fever. Cuz that's like that traumatized me. And then on that apartment 521 one, the reason I kind of have like a sour taste in my mouth about that is because there was a little moment where I got into like that version of myself.
Yeah.
Where I was like, all right, shut up. And then I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, don't.
Enough. That's enough.
And they were having fun. And, because they were talking to, 2 people were talking to each other. Yeah. And, I was ready to do a take. And then I was like, and we were running out of time. They didn't know that, but I did because our actor had to leave. And then I was like, oh my gosh, why did I say that? And then I apologized to him immediately the day after. But I was like, okay, we're not doing that again.
We're not doing that. That's enough of that.
But
I remember when me and Jacob were talking about the burger movie, though. We were definitely singing your praises a little bit, because I remember you told us that you think, in your eyes, you struggle to direct actors, and I'm sure that might be the case with people you don't know. But me and Jacob were both like, whenever he's directed us, like for example, when you and I were practicing the scene that I was unfortunately not able to do, but when we were in the kitchen that one night practicing it, that was some pretty good direction. And I've never seen you direct Jacob, but Jacob says that you gave him pretty direction. That was fun. And I have a strong feeling it's just because you know us. So you don't feel wrong, quote unquote, like bossing us around, because we're not going to take it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it'll be fun because me and Jacob, we have a very fun idea for a movie. and I'm gonna start penning the script probably when I get home from work today.
That's funny. I just like that term.
Penning
the script.
Um,
Like how rappers say, like, putting.
yeah.
Oh, my pen's fresh right now.
That's actually interesting. I remember recently I have a friend who's very like loosely like learning Spanish on like Duolingo, and she was like, because I speak Spanish, and she was like, how do you say pen in Spanish? And I said pluma. That's what I've always said. That's what my family always says. That's what everybody I've ever heard speak Spanish say. And I said pluma, and she said, okay, well Duolingo was telling me that it's some word called bolígrafo. And I was like, I've never heard that word in my entire fucking life. And then I did some research, and apparently that is the word for pen, but pluma is the word for feather. But we call it pen because, you know, back then we used to write on feathers. And it's just sort of stuck. So I think back then we used to write on feathers and ink. So I thought that was an interesting bit of etymology and language. But anyways, no, what was it?
No, I was just going to say, like, I've noticed that with my family, like, granted, I don't know Spanish that well, like, barely at all. But, you know, I took school for it. And so the teachers teach, like, you know, school Spanish. Yeah, but my family like, know, like, you know, like, street Spanish.
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
Like slang. Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what they're saying.
Like, it's very funny because I also got the Duolingo app because I was like, I might as well strengthen my Spanish because mine is very conversational. It's very slang. And also it's just very weak because I don't live with my family anymore. So I've been learning to like there's a word for like to have lunch, but it's just like one word, and it's like I've never heard anyone say that in my entire life. And I think it's because I think it also has to do with the fact that my family comes from a city in Mexico that's like very close to the border, so a lot of the English a lot of Spanish sort of becomes like a bastardized like English / Spanish, and not like Spanglish, but I mean like one word. For example, instead of lunch, there's a word for like an actual word for it, which is almuerzo, but my family always says lonche. And I have coworkers who speak Spanish and they say lonche because it sounds a lot like lunch. And like whenever my family's like, what are we gonna eat for lunch? We don't say ¿Dónde vamos a almorzar? Like, where are we gonna have lunch? As in the word, we're just like, where are we gonna eat? ¿Dónde vamos a comer? Like, that's it. I'm like, no one is ever gonna say this. Like, I get that's why I got the app because it's like the professional, but I'm never gonna use that. Unless I'm trying to impress someone, I'm never going to find myself using that.
Oh, there was a thing like that. It was a joke. It wasn't a joke, but it was this podcast. They were talking about like people want to learn like story like well enough to impress people at work or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the guy made an analogy. It's like when you think somebody is a good storyteller, but you know they're not because you could see all the flaws. And he was like, it's like you're like, oh, this person speaks Spanish, and they're like, no, they just know how to tell you where the bathroom is. Like that's it. And then. And then he's like, he let me know where the bathroom is. I think he knows how to speak. It was funny. I that was a complete butcher, but that just reminded me of that.
But I get what you mean, though.
I'll never learn Spanish.
Why? You don't want to, or you just can't?
I just can't. I'm too old. I've resigned.
I'm too old.
I'm past my prime to learn Spanish.
I've put in my years. That's funny.
That one college year, I really tried to understand it, and I was like,
this is.
I have other things to do.
We're done.
I love other things enough to be bad at them, and not this.
I think once you learn the things in life that you want to do enough to suck at, you're pretty set.
Yeah, that's why I can't draw.
I can't draw.
I don't have enough to be like this, man.
Most things.
I'm not doing this anymore. Literally, I've had that with drawing. I was like, I don't love this enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna scream my ass off.
Honestly, and then I like crinkle the paper, and I'm just like,
ow, fuck. My side cramped. I think I'm sleeping weird. Every day I wake up and my side hurts. And then it goes away after a couple hours, but it's every morning. Oh, I need to go to a doctor. Or I think
I'm sleeping weird.
I think I'm sleeping funny. That shit hurts. Anyways. One last thing I want to say before about the burger movie, before we get Jacob on and we talk in depth about where we're at in the process. I just want to say, it's gonna be like one of our quote unquote movies and like videos where we fuck around acting, kind of like the McRib video, the Farewell McRib, or the Tales from Supermarket, but it'll be the most structured one because we'll actually have a script. And also, but the idea is to be like fun and stuff, and actually have some sort of plot and like story.
Food truck.
Yeah. We had a stern talking to. There was no more food truck in that movie.
Stern talking.
I will say we did. Actually, no, I'll save that for when Jacob's here. But yeah. So it'll be fun having you direct us because it'll be like, actually, you know what? The closest we probably will have gotten to it. It'll be like when we tried to do our Marvel movies when we were filming my Gambit movie.
Yeah, but we didn't.
I mean, like in terms of like there's a structure. No, I know, but I mean like it was the three of us. There was a
Jacob
script.
was there. That was fun. Camera movement wise, we had a blast.
Yeah. It was fucking fun, and the product for what it is, pretty good. I won't lie.
I gotta get a camera. Somebody's got to get a camera.
Somebody's got to get a. We might as well chip in for a camera with the Patreon money. We make like $9 a month. That's big money.
Yeah, I don't. We
$9 a month will get us $9 a month will get us a camera in quite a bit. I'm sure there's, you know who we could ask? We could ask our good friend Skinny Luigi. He's got good camera recs. They're expensive camera recs, but they're good.
Yeah, that's my thing.
that's how they get you. What are the odds we just get a VHS camcorder?
Is that expensive?
Probably not. I mean, when that works, maybe.
How do you edit that though?
Like the old days, I cut up the film. Just kidding. Tape it back together. No, I mean you can like convert VHSs to like you can convert tapes to digital nowadays.
Oh, that's cool.
Look at this, $21 Mercari. JVC vintage VHS recorder.
What about the tape itself?
Oh yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
That's kind of what we need to record.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you. Okay, well, we'll just get a camera. It's that easy.
I know
how about
people
this?
who have cameras.
Once we go to Vegas, me and Jacob, and we win big, then
Ooh.
we get the camera. Once
I can
Jacob
imagine
wins big, then we
I
get
can
the camera.
imagine Jacob gets like he won't do the movie anymore because he's too depressed because of what happened.
Because he
lost all his money.
$500. He lost $500 and he doesn't want to do the fucking movie anymore.
I lost $500 in 20 minutes.
I just imagine Jacob's face when like something like devastating happens and he's just like, staring at the slot machine screen. Oh man,
Knowing it's all over.
that's funny. I hope he wins big. I just don't want him to leave his Vegas depressed.
Leave his Vegas depressed.
I'll leave his Vegas birthday trip depressed. But yeah, next week we'll have a Critters Corner, and then with it to go with it on the Patreon we'll have our Cinemas Corner because we want to keep it at most a secret until the actual movie comes out. We don't want everybody to know the ending. Not that anybody listens to the podcast, but you know, it is what it is.
It is.
So we'll discuss that. That'll be exciting. We'll talk to Jacob, and then yeah. Actually, I got a new bit I'm gonna do. Check this out. I got this deck of playing cards called the Dog Lovers. Each playing card has a different dog on it. I'm gonna do a little shuffle. We're gonna pull a card. We're gonna see what the dog of the week is. Give me a second to shuffle because I just opened this pack.
Okay.
All right. Can you hear that?
No.
Some good
I
shuffling.
can't.
Viewers, I bet can.
Yeah.
Some good shuffling. Yup. All right. I'm gonna grab like half of them. Gonna pick a card. This week's dog of the week, the West Highland Terrier, small yet sturdy, friendly, and tolerant. He's got a scarf on.
It's a good dog.
Ace of Spades. Ace of
I
Clubs.
have no idea. Yeah.
Ace of Clubs. He's a good dog. Tune back next week for the dog of the week, plus a critter, and whatever the fuck else we decided to talk about. Bye.